Hello, my name is Henry Hertz, and I'm very proud and very humble to welcome everyone to the Norsemen panel for WonderCon 2021. Other than Attestup, it's the most honorable thing you can do. Let me share my screen with you. So Norsemen is a hilarious historical comedy about inept Vikings with modern sensibilities. I fell in love with the series from the opening scene, which, though it takes place on a Viking longship, feels very much like we're watching a disgruntled airline passenger. I hope this panel brings more attention to Norsemen and convinces the studio to shoot more seasons. Come on, Netflix. Jonas Targeson and Jon Eva Holgaker are the mad geniuses who created Norsemen. Now, I wasn't there when they came up with the series, of course, but this is how I imagine the conversation went. Tron, if you would play the part of Jon Eva, and Björn, if you would play the part of Jonas, that would be great. And then when I show the next slide.
Let's write a show about Vikings. We're Norwegian after all.
True, but History Channel's already got a Viking series. Hey, what if we mash up Vikings with something completely the opposite, like NBC's The Office?
Yes, or Vikings should be hilarious, inept, and self-deluded.
And it should have sex, violence, and anatomy-based humor.
Yeah, testicles are never not funny. Totally worth an E rating, always been.
Exceptional, you two. So expressive in both movement and delivery. I love Norwegian accents. Now let's introduce our Norsemen. Cora Conradi plays the chieftain Orm. Cora, if you would please read the quote.
Who dares to boo their own chieftain? I'm really, really disappointed. You shouldn't boo your own chieftain. That's child's knowledge. Try firing an arrow with really cold fingers yourself before you start booing.
Wonderful. Tron Fausa plays the arrogant Roman slave Rufus.
Not to complain, but I think the flow of information here is on this boat is extremely arbitrary. And that is totally uncalled for when we're so crammed together in such a small craft. I didn't know until yesterday that we were even going to Norway.
Wonderful. Nils Jurgen Kolstad is our big thinking warrior Arvid.
This is where I come to think the big thoughts.
Yeah, like what's behind the stars and things like that?
No, more like mountains, big rocks. I think about whales sometimes.
Very nice. Eystein Martinson plays our always happy slave Kark.
Not to cock up your plans or anything, but are you 100% certain that it's necessary to sacrifice me? I mean, you've sacrificed 2 slaves already. You're not worried that the gods are going to think you're trying too hard, that it's too much?
Excellent. Björn Myrna plays the ever lovable Torstein. I'll play the role of Ragnar, so you start and I'll jump in.
What's this? A little raven with a message?
That's a chicken.
Chicken, right, of course. I've never been very good with birds. I see beaks and wings, but aside from that, they all look the same to me. Totally identical.
So you can't tell the difference between a sparrow and an eagle?
Not a chance. Totally bird blind, always been.
Love it. Next up, we have Jan Aegon, who plays the maniacal Jarl Varg.
I cannot stress strongly enough how important it is as a luscious head of hair. My hair is my pride and my light. A man's hair says everything about his personality.
It sure does. Marianne Otterson plays the chieftain's wife, Hilder.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make your job harder. Just drinking spit simply doesn't work for me.
And last but not least, Celia Top, the fierce shield maiden Freya.
You know what's key now for you? It's not to focus on the horizon. Yeah. And then you drink some warm goat milk. And then you go lie down in the middle of the boat, you close your eyes and you counteract the motion of the sea. Yeah. That's the only thing that helps. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, now is our time. We're going to switch over to questions and answers. And this is literally a guy I know. He forged this sword. It's really short, so the sea is not likely to take it away from Orm. So I thought that was pretty funny. You know what they say. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, here we are. All right, so I'm going to ask some questions. We'll start with Cora. So Norsemen has many things in common with NBC's The Office. They both feature hilarious dialogue, absurd situations, a large quirky cast with a shared fate, and surprisingly nuanced character development. I would say your portrayal of Orm is simultaneously empathetic and despicable, sad and funny, humble and proud, power hungry and desperate for friendship. You are the Steve Carell of Norheim. How did you manage to create a character who people want to root for and against at the same time?
That's a very kind word. I think there's a person deep down there that I was never chosen in school to be first on any team when I was younger, and it was. I was never chosen to be like when we played basketball or anything, and people could pick the ones they had. I wasn't the one chosen. When people went to parties when they were younger, when we were younger, they didn't actually invite me quite a lot of the times. So I think somewhere down there's a lot of truth in sort of based on bits of it, like I was when I was younger. Apart from that, I just think it's really well written. I think it's the first time I read the play or the script, I was immediately, I have to do this. It's the first time in my life that I wanted to call the casting director and say, I've never asked for anything, but can I please just get this part? So I just love the way it's written, and it sort of just felt easy to use the sort of soft parts of being not chosen for parties and things like that.
Great, thank you.
So, and then that comes with the sadness, and then of course he becomes extreme. He becomes extreme and starts killing people as well. So it's just it's very dark, but still, yeah. There's a sensation of being lonely and lost, and yeah.
Thank you. Tron. Some fans outside Scandinavia may not know that Norsemen was shot twice, once in English and once in Norwegian. How was that experience? Is it true the directors accepted nothing but spectacular results, that they were utterly uncompromising?
Well, yeah, they always do that. They always command the best from everyone. But no, the first, as I remember, the first idea was just to make one episode in English and try to sell that or something to Netflix or other channels. And by the end of the season, we had managed to just take a complete season in English and Norwegian. So and that was just by I don't know, maybe it was intentional or intentional for the producer, but for us it was just, hey, we actually did the whole season in English. But that was just okay, let's take one shot on this in English, and then just let's move on. So we didn't have the time to do it like so very proper deep diving in the English version. It was always the most focused on the Norwegian version. But when season 2 started, it was more like a 50-50 attention for like the Norwegian version and the English. So it was a spectacular ride.
Thank you. Nils, what do you think of my armor?
Let me see. Can you stand up a little? Oh, no. Oh, that's horrible.
Because you're such a fashionista?
No.
Okay, then you would probably know that fashion is about taking chances, experimenting, daring to be bold. Well, at the same time, of course, you have to wear something you feel comfortable in.
Well, yeah, whatever.
So some viewers may not know that you are married to Marianne Otterson, sitting there next to you in real life, which I think qualifies as the most extreme example of method acting. So I have to ask, what is it like to act in the same show as your wife? And remember, she's listening.
It's actually quite practical.
Big honor.
Yeah, it's a big honor. Yeah. We met at work, so we have worked together before, and this time it was because we have kids as well, and yeah, we got more kids during
the show.
the show, but so that's a good sign, I suppose. But no, I mean, it's we have to cooperate a lot, and this was no exception. So so it was practical to be together, and of course. Because we also brought our kids with us to the set, so I remember when Marianne was finished with her scenes and left back to Oslo, it was quite a relief for me to be alone without the kids and the wife. So only me and the guys and the girl.
Nice. Eystein, sorry. You played Kark, an invariable cheerful character, which contrasts hilariously with his status as a slave. Did you find the other actors treated you as a subhuman off camera? Did they ask you to fetch food for them and things like that?
Not really. They kind of just ignored me and just treated me like I wasn't there and I was nothing. And it was quite, it made it quite easy to be Kark for the whole duration of the shoot. So I didn't really have to act. I just had to find the kind of the positive in being a dog for everybody else. No, they didn't treat me. I think actually Marianne tried to get me some perks in the 3rd season. I really wanted a Coca-Cola, and she put heaven and earth into motion to get me that Coca-Cola, kind of to compensate for all the hurt during the shoot. So I was treated well, better than I deserved.
Great, thank you. Björn, how's the weather where you are? Does the wind seem to vary little from day to day? So what motivates you to be Torstein, to be so unfailingly obedient to Jarl Varg?
I think it's like 2 schoolboys who's outside, stand smoking on the corner, and everybody else is playing ball and playing sport or something. And I think he's safe to be with, but even though it's dangerous, I think it's to be loyal to him is not an option. If I want to, so I give him smoke, I give him fire and everything, so just to keep him calm and relaxed. And yeah, I think that it's a kind of odd safeness with him also, even though he's a bit dangerous. And then amazing about everything he's telling about his adventure. Yeah, I think it's no problem to work for him and to be loyal. No problem.
Thank you.
Oh, some problems.
So that's a good segue to Jan. I'm glad to see you have some luscious hair on your head.
It's not that much.
I loved how you conveyed so much of Jarl Varg's personality with facial expressions and gestures. I have to hand it to you. Can you tell us about how you chose to portray a man gone mad?
Oh, first of all, you have to get bold. You know, bold men are even they're highly intelligent or very evil or just bold. I can see that you are both. intelligent and evil, and a bold man. Almost, no? Okay. So that's the first step. And then you just have to find a character like Björn. And then you just have to find out how to become as evil as you can. The cliche of being evil and never evil enough. That's the whole thing. Cartoons.
Great, thank you. Marianne Otterson, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Perfect.
I happen to have an extremely good ear for languages, like top class, world class. The women of Norsemen are just as ruthless as the men. Can you talk to us about what motivates Hilder?
She wants to have it all. So the others are thinking that they're the chieftain, but me and Øystein, who's playing Kark, we know that Hilder is the real boss lady of Nordheim, and of course Kark is my wingman. So yeah, I let them play whatever, but we know by heart that I'm the queen of the village.
Excellent, thank you. Cilia, Freya paid a high price for turning her back on Jarl Varg. Was your appearance in season 3 planned from the beginning or a result of Norseman fan outrage?
I wouldn't know. I have no idea. And I don't think anyone knows. And that's some of the magic about this series, is that it has its own life. So I don't know, actually. And I don't want to know, because I think it's part of the magic. It's just, it goes like this, and we're just sitting on this bus riding along, and someone's jumping on and off and back on, and now I don't know where we're at or heading to, and that's cool too.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I know, speaking as a fan myself, I was happy to see your return in season 3, spoiler alert. So maybe they'll just keep, if we can get more seasons, maybe they'll do time travel and we'll just keep looping back so we can keep all the characters we love.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going back to the top, Cora. Is the chemistry between actors off screen the same as on screen?
Let's see. I think it's even better. Well, what chemistry? I mean, nobody speaks to me in this series almost. I mean, nobody wants anything to do with me. So I think the chemistry is much better off screen than on screen.
You're tight with Rufus.
Oh, what? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think one of the things that makes this series so fun to do, at least, is that everyone's having fun. It's basically we work. When they came up with the idea that we should do two languages, it means we work every night, every day, all the time, and we just love doing it. I mean, it doesn't, because we love being together. When every time we started a new season, we're all extremely happy to start, and we can't sort of wait to see each other again. So I think the chemistry between Rufus and Orm, just as important. It's really, it's part of why the series is so fun to do. It's a great chemistry.
Great, thank you. Tron, did you ever get so inside Rufus's head as a Roman playwright that you were tempted to offer Eunice or Jan-Ivar direction during filming?
So, could you repeat that question, please?
Did you ever get so inside Rufus's head as a Roman playwright that you were tempted to offer direction during filming to Eunice or Jan-Ivar?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. I had a little part of me is like a wannabe director. So I was sometimes I couldn't help myself and went over to Jonas and Jan-Ivar and like, what about you shouldn't do this. And was like Rufus style, but it's but it's we all know Jonas and Jon Iver from like years ago, because they have like a radio channel, what do you call it? Radio commercial production company. So every actor in Oslo have been like there and worked there, so we all know them, and so it's not a this is I'm sure this is a phrase from Norsemen, but it's like a flat structure society. What do you call it? It's not a hierarchies. So it was kind of it was easy going there and like trying to get my point across sometimes to them. but well, how should I say this? I'm thinking and speaking English at the same time. I'm doing two things simultaneously. No, it was fun. It was fun.
Thank you. Eystein, who was the biggest? Oh, sorry, Nils' turn. Nils, if you could play a different role than Arvid, who would it be and why?
I don't know. I think Cora's part would be fun to do. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I'm very happy with my part.
There's a saying, who is wealthy, he who is satisfied with his lot. So
yeah,
Arvid is satisfied with his lot.
Yeah.
It's not a big thinker.
No.
Eystein, who was the biggest jokester on the set? Who was playing pranks and making jokes all the time?
There is, I really, there's kind of there's a lot of humor on set all the time. I think there's a lot of, yeah, we have a lot of fun, but Tron actually is the prankster, I guess. Hiding underneath the makeup table when people arrive at 6:30 in the morning and jumping out, and standing in the stairwell when people are going to bed and on the hotel. And I think he's caused some semi-heart attacks during the shoot. And that's, he loves it. I think Kåre got a lot of it.
Great, thank you. Björn, who came up with Torstein's bird blindness?
The idea was Jonas and Jon Iver. Now I'm seeing. Okay, I see Tron.
Yeah, you're good. You're fine.
That's no problem. That's just fine. But yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. It was in the script, and we read through the script, and it was they had some ideas about when Torstein see the dragon, he would think that it's a bird, just a usual bird. So there's no size. I can't see the size of it, the color, the wings, nothing, totally bird blind. So I think that was a funny thing. So when it comes to the idea of the dragon, the big dragon, no chance.
Thank you. Jan, there's a good amount of combat in Norsemen. What preparations for sword fighting did you and the other actors train? Yes, Jan, you have to unmute.
Here I am. Well, it wasn't that much. We had some fight scenes with some people from, where were we from, Scotland or wherever? Yeah, some guys came over and we did it because we didn't have that much time, so to make it look easy, as easy as we can. I didn't practice a lot because I was supposed to be the big fighter, so I just did a couple of sword swings with him and just killed a couple of guys, and it made me look very, very strong. But I didn't practice a lot.
Okay, thank you. Marianne, do Nils' great facial features and perfect body create issues for your marriage?
Well, he's extremely popular, and we got a lot of fans standing outside our house. And yeah, as the other guys know, I really try my best to keep him. But let's
It's
see.
hard.
My feelings are also very strong with Øystein these days, so we just have to see. Because I really miss you, Øystein. I really hope we can have another season together. Yes.
Nils, you better watch out, man.
Yeah. But there are more fish in the ocean, I suppose.
The sea giveth and the sea taketh away. Cilia, who is in possession of the props, your special necklace and engagement ring?
If I told you, I had to kill you.
Oh.
So, but you know, they smell kind of, you know, the first season, well, yeah, you know, the necklace, it's actually, it's real, it's whale penises, and they smell like badly. And often we got wet, you know, it was rainy and, you know, a lot of dirt and stuff, and then it smells even more. So we tried to sort of put some, what's it called, lac or hairspray or something outside, and then it just got worse. So I just went around with this stinky bomb around my neck. But yeah, now I guess it's in some kind of some secure place, you know, stinking by itself, waiting for another occasion to shine. Yeah.
Good to know. So physically, what was the most uncomfortable scene you had, excluding, of course, the assicle whipping?
Oh, the assicle whipping was fine. Physically or mentally? No, physically.
Physically.
I think the worst scene physically was actually the one with Rufus and me, with Tron. When in season 1, at the end of season 1, we were down in the hole, and then Marianne came and she peed on us because the whole scene took such a long time to do, and we were down in this hole in the ground, as you know if you've seen the series, and covered with dirt, and of course there was a hole down there to begin with, but it was really uncomfortable, and I was sitting on a large piece of a pipe, and something was sticking up. So I was sitting completely on something sticking up from a metal pipe, and it was so uncomfortable. I think people went to lunch at the same time. I think they went to lunch and came back, and we were still sitting there. And then when the whole scene was finished and I was hurting so bad, they opened the whole hole, and I looked next to me, because during the scene I asked Tron if he was all right, if he was doing okay, and Tron went, yeah, I can manage. If he manages, then I can manage as well. And then when we stood up, Tron wasn't sitting on a metal pipe with anything. So they'd given him a chair before they filled the hole. So the chair, and he had a cushion down there, and I was sitting on a metal pipe. So that was the worst. I think I was down there for 5 hours, and he had a cushion and a chair, and I had a metal pipe in my, yeah.
Wow. Well, those pipes are so hard. They could at least throw on a few animal skins for you. The assicle falls asleep straight
That
away.
is true. That's a good quote. Yeah.
Tron, since we were talking about you, what was your most challenging scene, mental or physical?
The most challenging day for me was the cold, because we were having some sort of I'm sorry, I'm switching into Norwegian here. What day was it? Den dagen var så innmari kaldt. Jon? Det hører jeg ikke. Hva het det der?
Looks like you're on
Wasn't
your
it in
own.
season 2? There was anyway, it was a day that we had like
It was winter,
snow
snowing,
and rain and
snow,
wind
rain,
and
yeah, summer
it
and winter
was
at the
so
same time.
cold. Yeah. And it was so cold, and we knew that we had to be there for at least 6 hours more. and we had no place to hide or to get warm or anything. So that was a challenging day for me.
Great, thank you.
And for everyone else, I suppose.
Nils, did you audition for the show overall or for a specific part?
No, I was actually, I was just asked to play the part from the beginning. That's how good I am.
Oh, don't brag.
Yeah.
Nice, okay.
Suits you again. That behavior suits you.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
You're so amazing, Jurgen. I am so in love with you.
Thanks.
Me too.
We all are.
Yes, we all are. So beautiful.
Eystein, did you ever walk around off-set in your costume doing ordinary things?
I think that's mostly what I did. So I just I just walked around in that big robe and had a coffee, and then got whipped a bit, and then had more coffee. So it's quite an easy shoot for me. I mean, my suffering was so much less than Kark's suffering. There was a walk in the park. So I just walked around this Kark and enjoyed life.
I was just curious if when you actually walked around offset, like among people that weren't working actors or crew, if you got any strange reactions from people.
No, everybody looked strange on that set, and you kind of were transported in a car to the hotel. But I actually once, because I was doing a play in another city, so I had to drive 2 hours and take a ferry when I was finished shooting. And one day I actually forgot to take off my makeup. So I removed my costume and my hat, but I was dirty and had crap all over my face on the ferry. And then I went to the toilet there and saw what I looked like. So that's kind of I just look like a working guy, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Björn, did you have to do any training for being on a long ship? Remember to unmute. You have to unmute your mic, please.
You have to remember, we're Vikings, you know, we don't know these things. So it's hard for us.
In Norwegian,
Technology.
I don't know what. No, the long ship, it was a fun thing to do, but it was just like standing like a pole. To not, because I get seasick very, very fast. And then not to throw up, because it's a little place to be. And I could throw up on Jon, he's a great guy, but it would scene. So I have to just stand still, and yeah, it was yeah, it was a big boat, so no problem. Just hang on to myself and hang on to Jon and the other people, and that makes the beautiful scene.
Great, thank you. Jon, has anyone given you a Norseman specific gift like prosthetic hands?
Not yet. I'm still waiting. Maybe a wig. Hopefully we'll get a wig soon. I need a wig. You know, you can see it. I got a hole in my head here.
That's a perfect setup for Björn to give his comment. It makes you interesting. People want to talk to you. Marianne, what was the funniest thing that happened on set? Not while you're shooting, but something funny outside of the script.
Well, the funniest thing for me is I can't play with Tron because every time I play with him, I get this, I just start to laugh. He doesn't have to do anything. So it's a big problem. I can't, he has to always look away when we're together on set because, just seeing him is making me, I can't almost talk. So that's the funniest and the worst thing for me.
That I'm not sure if that's a compliment or the opposite of a compliment, but let's just move on. Cilia, who would win in a fight, Freya or Lagertha from Vikings?
Lagertha, of course. No. Well, who would win? I guess me. I have to say that, don't I? But I do think I'm stronger than her. Yes.
I think you are, Cilia. I think you are.
Yes.
Yes.
We
There's no
voted,
doubt.
and yes, you're the winner.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
So now I have
That's for
some general questions for the group. So just if anybody feels like answering, just go ahead and start talking. Anybody want to tell us something about one of your fellow actors that the public doesn't know?
Who wants to go first?
Marianne probably has some choice things to tell us about Nils. No takers,
it-
huh?
I'm excited. Come on. No.
Bring it. All right, let's skip that one.
I think what's been said about Tron is very important, because Tron is very funny privately as well. But when he has a tendency to jump out and scare people. He loves scaring people, and he jumps out and passes and and there was a lot of that going on. And I think I'm probably 5 years older than I actually am, due to the fact that Tron was scaring me so much during all the season. So I don't want to spend much time with him, because I'm afraid of getting even older.
Cora is a very good he's a tap dancer.
I can tap
yeah.
dance.
He can tap dance. He's so damn fucking.
And
They
he
actually
can
wanted
play
me
the
to.
drums.
What-
He can play
what
the
was that?
drums as well.
And he
Cora,
can sing.
yeah, he's very good at
The drum-
singing and drums.
Cora was born a star. He's a star.
I'll just leave it with that.
We can just feel the love. It's great. So is there anything fans can do to help convince Netflix to shoot more seasons of Norsemen? Should we be more resourceful, like sacrificing some slaves? We know that it just takes 2. I mean, I'm doing my part with my website
To
and just,
convince Netflix to.
yeah. Well,
much
what can we do to
resource.
tell Netflix, come on, we need season 4? Is it just based on people viewing the show again and again?
We don't know. We
I
just
think
hope.
so.
Yeah. Probably
I think
not
it's
enough
statistics.
views, I suppose, because if there were, they would probably make more. So if more people watch it, then who knows?
Okay.
Nice.
Would anyone like to tell us about any other acting projects on which you're working? Tell us what else you do, because we in America mostly know you through your Norsemen appearances, but of course you do plenty of other things. And anybody want to share what they're up to?
At the moment, I started something called the Norwegian Ibsen Company, which is trying to, in a very small scale, because Ibsen is the most performed in the world after Shakespeare, and he's Norwegian. So I thought I'll make a Norwegian Ibsen Company. So we already had an opening night in London, and so I'm trying to develop a Norwegian Ibsen Company to have Norwegian actors playing more Ibsen around the world, and starting a company. So that's one of the things.
Great.
Actually, I'm working both with Tron and Jon now on a new comedy show here in Oslo. So we're keeping the group together. It's very, very good.
That's good. Is that going to be available for people in the rest of the world to see, or is it strictly for Norway?
But, yeah, I'm only looking forward to again with Øystein. So we really need to do another season so we can come back together. It's really nice to see all of you again.
No, but actually, we are. I'm playing at the theater, and we have to play for empty. We play the. That's how we do it here, probably everywhere. I don't know, but we just to keep the performance warm. We just have to play
For no people.
for no people. So we're playing Of Mice and Men in Oslo for no people.
Oh, yesterday I had 1 in the audience.
Yeah,
That was nice.
yeah.
That's interesting. I can't imagine acting in front of an empty room.
Right.
Anyone else? I'll move on to another question. If anybody else want to tell us what you're up to? If not. So I was surprised as an American how well Norsemen employed American slang, and I was just wondering if they had a consultant for that, or is that just Univa and Jonas really understand American slang, or do they have a consultant?
We were actually told not to speak so well English, so sometimes we had to repeat our lines because we did them too well. But that was the guys, Univer and Jonas. They were like, no, you have to do it again. And so if I said I don't want to do that, he said, no, you have to do it again. And then I had to repeat it. I don't want to do that, or we had to say. No, how do you say it? No. We're too good, so we can't.
Cora was often too good. He speaks very, very good, and he was often too good. So we had to, yeah.
Cora's always perfect. He's always perfect.
I know. What to say is our star.
So do you prefer?
Well, they did have a few people coming in when they did the script in American. They had the translator was looking at the text to try and find the right words for the American version, and there was a question at some point if they wanted to change the script and make it more English. Was it supposed to be English humor or I think American humor in the beginning? Because sometimes I have a bit of my family from London, so I sometimes love to think we could do it in sort of an English, using English words, or UK sense of words. And but they were American, and I think there was an American who did the translation, wasn't it? Jurgen?
Yes, I think it was. But also, I mean, a lot of the phrases are often directly translated from Norwegian to American, and also vice versa, because Jonas and Univer have a thing for, in Norwegian we call it Anglicisms or something, like they like to directly translate phrases from cliches from from films and stuff, and just translate them directly to Norwegian. But also a lot of the phrases are directly translated from Norwegian to English as well. So like 3, 2, 1, no one else can come. It's like, it's, 1, 2, 3, ingen flere med.
Yeah.
How about, does anybody prefer stage acting versus on screen?
Most of us do both, so I think it's nice to do both stage and film and TV, and
yeah. Most of us work at theaters as well at the same time.
Yeah.
Both, television, film, and theater.
Do you prefer one over the other? I mean, you get some feedback immediately when you do it, obviously, in the theater.
Depending on the project, I think.
I've always had a love for being on stage. So it sort of started from there. I think I was confused to begin with when I started doing film work. The first film thing I did, I didn't know any better, so it actually worked. But after that, I was doing much theater work, so my work on screen would become a bit too big almost. So I had to sort of tone it down a bit for a screen. But I love both.
Great. Well, we're coming up toward the end of our time. I want to thank everybody. Is there anything you want to end with? Anybody want to share anything at all about anything? Ask each other a question. I very much appreciate your time. I am a huge Norseman fan, obviously, and it's just been a thrill to actually get to meet you through Zoom. And thank you for all your great acting work.
And thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so nice of you.
Keeping up the Norseman end.
Yeah.
No, my pleasure.
Yeah.